have you for this meeting. Let us first start with thanking Sharon for organizing this meeting. Thank you, Sharon. In this MEC, we continue to look for business opportunity for our World Trade Centers. And today, we will discuss the topic of setting up a database of consultants to help companies of other World Trade Centers to enter the local market. So Nicolas and I discussed this topic last year, and wouldn't it be great to have a database with World Trade Center accredited consultants? So consultants with knowledge of the local market and who can help companies from other World Trade Centers. Would it be nice, in my case, if a Dutch company is looking for a business opportunity in Poland, to get in touch with and get in contact with a Polish World Trade Center consultant who can help and assist our company to enter the Polish market? I mean, this consultant can help this company in understanding the local business culture, explaining the market, and bring the company in contact with potential partners. However, are we competing with our own services? And what is it what's in it for us, for our local World Trade Centers? And if we want to have such a database, what should be the criteria for a consultant to become a World Trade Center consultant? So, and also, what's the business model for the local World Trade Center? And of course, also for the other World Trade Center. So more than enough questions. One thing I know is that having such a database, it helps, or it might strengthen our brand name as an organization stimulating trade. So Nicolas, you prepared a presentation. Maybe we can share that one.
Yep. Do I have the I have the rights to do so? Let's see.
Sharon will allow you probably.
Yeah, you should.
I do. I think so.
Great.
If you see my screen.
So
Can you all see my screen?
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. But let me first, I don't know if let's see, is Donna there? Donna Salem?
No, I don't see her here.
Okay, neither is Rina Cosentina?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's a pity, because otherwise we would love to have welcomed them and also give them the floor as being a participant for the first time. But it might be good also to go further on to the agenda. We have a couple of items to share with you. Let me see I need my screen back. Where is it? Yes. Okay. Now yeah, introduction of new members. Unfortunately, they are not there at this stage. Well, our program for this year, we have in May 23rd, we're still on a topic that can be discussed. So also your input is more than welcome in the regards to topics you would like to discuss in this trade service MEC. And any ideas was more than welcome. And then we will discuss if we will go on with this topic. But we also have this September 5th, we have a meeting together with the Americas. So we're going to discuss with the Americas what topic we will address. It's September 5th. And in October, during the member forum in New York, we will also have a topic on the trade services related items. But the topic for today, consultants. Are we? Yes, maybe next sheet if possible. Yeah, it's the what, and it's also
The what?
the why. From why would this? Oh, sorry. Can you leave the sheet?
That's okay. I was looking for the why, but there's only a what.
Exactly. There's a what, and the second question is a why. Nicolas, maybe you can give us lead us a little bit to the whats and the whys.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me actually pull up the other screen so that I see you all. Yeah, so when EJ and I were discussing this topic, we actually a lot went through our minds, and I think the best is to use this forum to discuss and brainstorm the what and what this international database of WTC consultants or business consultants could look like. The key pretty much for us is first of all, is there a need for it? That's the first question. And what would the benefits be? What would be the added value? And so we prepared this presentation. This is a discussion, so please jump in, give your input, your opinion, your dreams of such a database, and then of course we'll have to make sure that it's all okay with legal in New York and all that stuff. But first of all, we wanted to hear you out and see if we're on the right track and if such a database could be useful. If say you have one company that wants to have information about setting up shop or exporting in a country where there's already a WTC, but a WTC that does not necessarily answer your requests, or there's a WTC that is part of this project of a database, or even a country where there's no WTC. So, you know, that's why we have this discussion. That's why we would like to have some inputs from you. But the first question, I think, is, do you all use consultants? Do you use consultants when a company comes to you and asks about a destination or a specific market? So I don't know if some of you might have answers to this question. Do you use consultants in your everyday business?
Nicholas, I think it's a very, very wide and generic question, to be honest with you. Look, if a customer or a client or a member comes to us and wants to set up, let's say in Netherlands, it's very easy because we ask where. If they don't know where, we will just choose a destination for them, for their type of business, and then contact our colleagues nearest to that area as a first line of consultancy. We don't go to Pricewaterhouse, we don't go to our international lawyers or to the Chamber of Commerce. We go to our World Trade Center in that country. If there is no World Trade Center in that country, then we go to our international auditors, PwC, KPMG, and people like that, and they for sure will have an office in that area. So that's really for us the point of contact. WTCs first, then our auditors, accountants as a second line.
Yeah, and maybe I can add to that one, because it's great that you have the example of the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we are organized with our 12 World Trade Centers by having a team of 20 World Trade Center coaches or advisors. These are all independent guys. They have their own business. Most of them, 90%, 95%, it's a one-man's business. But what they have in their background is they have experience in exporting. And they have the knowledge on the local markets. So those will be the people that we will, if you would address a request to Rotterdam or to The Hague, this is these are the guys that the World Trade Center probably will tell from, get in touch with this guy or that guy. They have knowledge in the business with Cyprus, but they also know how the local market functions, so they can help this company from Cyprus by providing this service. Instead of going to a big law firm or whatever, big firm there. So that's a little bit the idea of those consultants. So if we can build up a network of that kind of consultants that are able to deal with your specific requests, but being offered by the local World Trade Center, then these kind of consultants might be toppers. And I agree with you. Maybe that's a specific group of consultants that we could add to it.
And Nicholas, we won't necessarily go to the Big Four. I give you an example. In India, our experience is BDO, which is not the top four, are one of the most active and dynamic firms which can provide the startup consultancy service rather than the Big Four.
We would actually like to hear about them.
Yeah, look, the Big Four, you know, this phantom of Big Four, at the end of the day, you're dealing with people. It doesn't matter what label you have on top of your head. If the person who is delivering it is not a dynamic, likable person that the client thinks he or she is the best, then it doesn't matter whether they are the top four or bottom four. It's really to do with the person who is providing the service.
And is a BDO, are they able also to help you in regards to making contacts with companies on your behalf or on the company's behalf?
Look, if I want to have contacts, I'll go to my embassy in India. I go to the commercial attaché first. If not the World Trade Centers, we have always in India used the WTCs we have there because they are fantastic and very dynamic and huge resources. If that doesn't work, then we go to our embassy commercial attaché and ask them for contacts and advice, and they always do.
Danisa has a question, I think.
Thank you, Nicholas. What already came into my mind is that we are also looking for the honorary consuls, because like our Christina Schweitzer is, honorary consul of Sweden in Italy, because these people are actually, let's say, representatives of the economy of these economies on the local market. So they should have very good connections. On the other hand, I wanted to share with you a case of our Swiss member, Lugano, WTC Lugano, which is telling me, look, Danica, we don't have always the right response from, across the network, from the network, so that we engage, for instance, local lawyers who are dealing with the commercial law, and they put us in touch with the local companies, potential partners for our members, business members. So you see, they actually engage them on a specific fee, and they share the profit on this service and don't reach out to our colleagues. So I'm asking myself, why is it happening in Poland? Why? That's the question.
Do you have an answer to that?
Yes, I was trying really, because they said they're too slow, they don't respond, they're like more, for instance, Poznan is more real estate oriented. The other spot is in Warsaw. They maybe have other priorities. So you see, our members, if they don't find out the response from our network, they look for other solutions.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I see also Milan and Heidi. Maybe Milan, could you reply to this? I would like to hear your idea in this regard, and if you work with consultants as well.
Yeah, I think what you got there is the first protocol for what I see in my region with reach out to. I'm also learning as I go along, but these I think the World Trade Centers is my first protocol to explore wider networks and to get feedback as to where are the best markets to approach.
Okay. And Heidi?
Yes. So yes, I think exactly the same as the other ones have said. Like if there is no WTC there, so if there is no World Trade Center, for example, in that location, then there is a consultant, and it's a lot of consultants that that you kind of know through somewhere else, I would say. So for example, through like we have here in Finland, Business Finland, who has a big network of different kind of things. So I would utilize any other source then, of course. So I'm not like tied specifically. So whatever I can do to help the customer, that's what I will do. So of course, I would prefer to use the VTCs everywhere, but since they don't have it everywhere, or they don't have the trade services there or something, so then I do a different route. But typically, I would really need to use some other kind of network that I have or my own contacts. So I think it would be nice if there would be something like approved network or something like this.
Okay, thank you.
I got a comment.
Yes, please, Milan.
Where would you put free trade zones and special economic zones? Because in my region, you find that some of these zones do have international tenants with a wide range of industries. And that could be another source of networks that you potentially want to interact with.
Yeah, very good.
It seems like we're answering the second slide question, which is the who would these consultants be, or do you have local consultants, etc.
Okay.
It's probably from the question that I asked, do you have local consultants? But it seems like there is actually, so I'm going to copy and paste my answers in the second slide, but it seems like there is a need for an international database, especially in the markets where WTCs don't respond, and where there are no WTCs in the so-called market. But Miran was talking also about the fact that he uses sometimes consultants on the Indian market, and we know that we have a lot of,
I mean, Nicholas, look, if I don't get an answer from World Trade Center Poland, the first thing I will do, I'll send Anthony to get into his car, go to Nicosia, knock on the door of the Polish embassy, make an appointment with the trade delegation there, and ask whatever we need to ask. If that doesn't work, I go to the Polish-Cyprus Trade Association. There are many resources in your own country which you can tap free of charge before you start paying consultants who charge you for their service.
And that's also your recommendation, that first go for the free ones and then go for the paid ones?
Absolutely. But what do you have to lose, EJ?
No, I agree. But often they say in Holland everything that's free, then you cannot rely on the quality of the
but nothing in this world is free. Those associations exist from your taxes and my taxes.
I agree.
We are paying for it already out of our pockets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True.
May I share my...
Yes, please.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi, this is Ling from Vietnam. I'm one of our new WTCs, and we started 4 years ago. And actually, we didn't have any context before. We just have only one database set that's provided by Scott Wang. And in the reality, we don't know how to use that. So we started by, we become the consultant for free, and we design the projects by ourselves. And we involve different ambassadors in different WTC and countries together with us. And at that moment, we got the support from WTC Mumbai. So WTC Mumbai was the first one, and then they connect us with the members of them. So actually, we didn't pay anything, but we provide service for them and we work together and create the value. So the other way of consultant is also somehow that we design the project and make things together. And then later on, we leverage that relationship. So that's what we have done.
Very good. Very nice. Nice to hear.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to learn about the business model regarding this relationship you have, but that's for the next slide. So your thought on this one.
Okay. But just because we shares and why we just start, but we can continue.
Okay, that's interesting for the business model part. How do you know? Well, Miran talked about the quote unquote free services, and we heard about Business Finland, we've heard about oops, and there's Business France in France, there's NBSO in the Netherlands. But how do you know that these consultants are to be trusted? What criteria, and that goes for, of course, you know, if the consultants or these agencies usually belong to your country, then usually they're trusted. But how about the other dynamic or active firms? How do you know you can trust these consultants? Do you have criteria in-house, or even unsaid criteria, unwritten criteria, tacit criteria? What for you is a trusted consultant?
Maybe Anthony, what I haven't heard you so far. I'm very curious in your reply.
As Mr. Moran said, he sends me to different places to find these people. So what we do basically is, yes, ideally, when we are approached by either our clients, our tenants, or whatsoever on information on a foreign market or willing to do some sort of business, yes, ideally, we would look first to go to our World Trade Center. Reason being, we are a World Trade Center, so it makes sense for our clients that we work all together around the world. So we would direct to a World Trade Center. However, there have been cases, yes, that we have looked out and have not found someone. So yes, we have sort of worked with many associations on the island and abroad that do sort of consultancy regarding finding networks abroad and all that. If you can trust them or not, well, that's a good question. But if we rely on our own World Trade Centers and we have no responses, isn't it the same thing trust-wise that we're not getting the responses we want? So sometimes you have to sort of risk a bit to definitely we check them out first, who these people are, these consultants and all that. However, sometimes if you have no information whatsoever, you have to show some sort of trust with these people. And we show them that, yes, it is a win-win situation. If you do deliver what we request, then you will have the advantage of working with the World Trade Center Cyprus.
Nicholas, I don't know, did you brought into the presentation the criteria that you looked for?
Yeah, that's interesting. Indeed, I can share a list of criteria. I can share definitely a list of criteria from an organization that uses consultants in the Brittany region.
Yeah,
and
just to get an idea.
Share them with you. But I wanted to react on Anthony's response. Say that, for example, just toying with the idea, if I have this hotshot consultant in Brittany, Western France, that is a specialist in green hydrogen in Oman, and that person is on that said database, then I, as a WTC, can vouch for that person. And that person could then in turn, of course, and that's, can establish a list of criteria, but could in turn, be useful for other people in the network. And so that said that, not only do you have a WTC that pushes that consultant, but also with another list of criteria that I can share. That consultant is also trusted by others. There's this organization in Western France called Bretagne Commerce International. It kind of belongs to the Business France network. I don't want to get into politics, but anyways, it's kind of similar to it. And they work with consultants abroad. They don't have a business model attached to it per se, because they are a state owned agency, and they do not make money off the relationship, the relationship that they create between the company and the consultants. And so on their website, you can also see that list of consultants that they have in I think it's in 160 different countries. And in each country, they have 3-4 consultants. Some of them belong to the Business France network. Some of them, so a public network, some of them belong to the Chamber of Commerce, French Chamber of Commerce network, and some others are private consultants. And I thought that this is an interesting model. So I'm just going to share with you the criteria that they defined to vouch for these consultants. So let's see, I need to share another document. So I don't know if I share this, I don't know how does it work? Let's see. Sorry,
Hi.
I don't
Yeah.
use Zoom. I'm gonna stop and share.
Yeah, that's what you
something
do. You stop
Okay.
and then you can reshare.
else. All right. So let's see, which one is it? Let me do it again. So that should be it. So I actually translated the for you guys. Well, thank you, Google. Can you see the document, the Word document?
Yeah, it's very small letters. So if you make it, if you can enlarge
Yeah, I'll
it,
make it a bit bigger. There you go.
yeah, that's a
So-
good way.
So
Okay.
is it all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the organization is called Bretagne Commerce International, BCI, and so they have this this list of criteria to become an approved service provider abroad by BCI. First thing, they need to be authorized to represent the company. That's obvious. Second one is at least 5 years of existence. At least 5 years of existence for that company to be able to accompany other companies on the markets, specified markets. Then third, they must be able to carry out on their own most of the services entrusted. And they must indicate if there are some subcontracting to a third party. Fourth, they must indicate that they beforehand their sectors of competency. So I gave the example of green hydrogen in Oman, for example, that, and they need to have at least 3 letters of recommendation from other companies that they've accompanied. So we're talking here, it's pretty dense. But once again, you want to be sure that you're providing the right, the right stuff to your company. They need to declare in advance the sectors that are excluded due to previous commercial activities, or because they are already agents or distributors in one sector. 6, and that's, I think, quite interesting. And that's very specific to Bretagne Commerce International. They need to be able to represent their company and their the country that they're based in, and the sector that they work in webinars. So that structure, BCI, puts together webinars on a monthly basis, and these consultants actually participate in the webinars and are speakers, and so have to be knowledgeable and have to once in a while give presentation about their markets. Of course, then they must inform of any changes. They must respond within 7 days, 7 calendar days to requests. So that's a very important thing. And if they don't, then they have to, of course, no, I don't have time is actually an answer. They actually need to answer the request. And then, you know, they need to, of course, if there are changes in the organization, they need to tell BCI about them. And they need to, and they are evaluated, these consultants, by the companies that they've accompanied. Then there's some GDPR rules, charter, legal. Of course, if there are any legal disputes with these people, it's applied to subject to French law in that case. But anyway, so these are just examples of criteria that are used by that organization.
Thank you, Niklas. There's a newcomer here on the floor, and that's Dirko Den Otter of World Trade Center 20. Can you hear us, Dirko?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because we don't see you, but we can hear you.
That's right.
Dirko, when I started with the opening sentence, I also mentioned that in the Netherlands we have about 20 consultants, advisor, coaches, and Dirko is one of them, and he is now employed by World Trade Center 20. So maybe Dirko, you've seen the criteria that Niklas was presenting. How did you feel being a consultant and being a consultant of the World Trade Center network? And do you think that those criteria are logical?
Yeah, well, frankly, Evo-Jan,
okay, yes.
I was looking at my settings to get the screen activated.
You're scaring Dirko there, EJs.
No, I can imagine. But maybe Dirko, maybe please introduce yourself briefly, and hopefully then you can tell us a little bit from what kind of criteria you would give to consultant by being a consultant yourself.
Yeah, well, as Evo-Jan told you, I entered WTC 20 only the beginning of this year. So in the trade service department, so only 10 weeks within WTC 20. Before I had my roughly 9 years, I had my own export consultancy here in the Netherlands, in Zwolle, assisting small and medium enterprises in their journey to to enter new export markets. And within these 9 years, I was trade affiliated to both the WTC of Evo-Jan and WTC 20, particularly in the field of export coaching. So I knew the World Trade Center organization for about 6 years, but now I'm actually in the worldwide organization. And before, I have been an export manager for about 25 years with a few multinational companies, particularly in the agro field, like Yara, probably you know, the largest fertilizer producer in the world. But in animal nutrition, 10 years with Saint-Gobain, in the field of, I see Nicholas reacting, particularly in the field of glass house cultivation. And also I've been working about 4 years with the Dutch multinational Tenkate in water management. So that's my background.
Yes, and what kind of criteria do you think is necessary for a consultant to become a World Trade Center consultant?
Yeah, Yeah.
Say, Dirko, if we were to create a database of consultants that are vouched by other WTCs to soft land or to export on a specific market, what would be the #1 criteria for you as a former consultant, or even if you still are a consultant, what would for you be the #1 or #2, 3 criteria to say be able to be vouched by other WTCs or
Yeah.
even by the WTC as a whole?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, that of course that's very, very logical. He should or she should have ample international experience, I guess. International business experience, experience international business. And then hopefully, of course, preferably, I guess, experience in a specific domain, like agriculture or food or fintech or medtech or you name it. Command of multiple modern languages, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, an open attitude, I would say. A good listener, professional.
That's a good list, and of course these are somewhat obvious as well, but not so much sometimes in that we should probably know how many years that person has been working on that specific market and multiple languages. See, the thing with the organization that I was presenting earlier is that they have, and I can share you the website later, but they have on the same website, on the same database, public funded institution. So French public funded, Business France or CCI France International funded institution, and they have private consultants that have been established in that country for so many years, 20, 25, 30 years, and that speak the local language. And I found it very interesting to have private, entities and public entities, where usually in these public entities, oftentimes it's kind of like a foreign service kind of thing. People stay, 3 years in one country and then move on to, into another country for another 3 years. And so at the end of the day, and Miran said it perfectly, it's about the people, it's about people, it's about the trust. And so these private consultants, are interesting. But I think that these criteria are quite interesting, Darko. Thank you for your input.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you worked for Saint-Gobain and that you contributed to making our trade balance a bit better than what it is right now.
Yes, Anthony. Yes, please. Anthony.
If I may add on the criteria basis, I believe it's highly important that whoever, because it's us World Trade Centers that are going to recommend consultants, let's say, that will be added to this list. So I believe the #1 criteria should be is the actual brief and making this consultant understand that they are representing the World Trade Center of that country or city when they are looking out to get the information requested. So they have to understand, firstly, what the World Trade Center is, how it works, and why we are proud to be a World Trade Center holder. They have to have this feeling, because if they don't, then no matter who they are, the result won't be as must be done. And as Mr. Meron said and Nicholas earlier, it's very important because we're dealing with people. So these people have to be briefed and understand that it's highly important that they are representing a World Trade Center, even though they are individual consultants. I just thought I'd like to add that.
And just to add to that, EJ Nicholas, the example of Oman, if anybody comes to me and asks for advice in Oman, I go straight to our reinsurance company subsidiary in Oman, who have a tremendous database, and most probably are insurers for the facilities that our client is looking for, and get advice from them. So we will try, of course, tested knowledge and the people who we think they will deliver, and not anybody. You know when you talk to somebody, whether it's the commercial attaché, whether it's the business association, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, you know whether they know the subject or they don't, or they are just bluffing. So, we will never use people who are new or have no experience in providing such service.
Yeah, I can imagine. But Miran, what do we need to do with those World Trade Centers that are there but are not offering trade services?
We have said it, EJ, 100 times. I don't know. I think you can write a book on this now. We need to use World Trade Centers who do provide the service through the local, through the regional trade services, MAC, and approach them and offer to run their trade services on a sharing basis. And we have the capacity, we have the knowledge, we have the network, we have the regional coordinators who are very able and willing. We just need to implement it instead of talking about it.
If I understood you well, then there is, in your opinion, but say if I'm wrong, but in your opinion, you do not feel it's a necessity to build up a database of consultants. Just rely on
not at all. It is I think is a great idea to build a consulting resource center. But I just explained how we approach things at the moment before we go to a paid service.
Yeah.
That's all. Of course, if we need to go to a consultant for a very specialized subject, which we don't have the ability either locally or internationally, we have to go to a specialized consultant that knows the subject and pay for it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes? Tintil, for moving on to business models. I don't know, EJ, if you wanted to react to Miran first. I cut you.
No, this is fine. This is clear. I'm happy that you also see the advantage of having such a database, because that's also my feeling, that if we focus on that word trade in our World Trade Centers, and we have this database that we can also show to our local members, say the companies, local companies, that will also strengthen our brand, because then we can also show the way the network works and how big the network is, and also how it is being organized with all kind of organizations linked towards the World Trade Center. And of course, individual consultants, I think it's an important asset that if we organize it well, then it's a wonderful asset for all of us. So that's a little bit my idea. Going into the how.
Danitza had a question.
Thank you, Nicholas. Being myself a trade and investment consultant for years, I would suggest, since we are living in a digital world, to equip our consultants database, all of them with digital tools like a global help trade desk that we as organization are using in order to provide right trade contacts to our members. So I think that they should really be equipped also with these kind of tools and resources in order to represent our organization in a best manner.
So you mean that they would have access to the digital tools that we have access?
Yes, yes, and being, let's say, able to use Global Help Trade Desk and such resources that we already use.
Okay, but how are these people then linked to our network? Are they partner? Are they member? Or how do you see that, Danica?
I mean, we already cooperate with the Global Help Trade Desk. We had some seminars, like the regional stuff. So we can really share this knowledge. And I mean, I think that our consultants should be also able to use these tools.
Okay. Now we come to the next topic, because I see that we are running out of time. We have 7 more minutes to go.
We had Lin Yuin from Vietnam who started talking about business models half an hour ago, and I was curious to hear about your business model with
yes,
Mumbai.
please, Lin.
Yeah, okay, so for this, I would like to have some sharing because I used to run one big program from one billionaire. He run the program is called Export Trade Assistant for the ASEAN Pacific country, usually bring the product from different ASEAN countries to Hong Kong for exhibition. So we need to consult them how to make the nice product and also fine-tune the product. And we develop every country. We have 2 export consultants like that, and we pay the salary for them. And of course, all of the money comes from the billionaire. So if WTC would like to develop the model like that, I also join different membership model with different network, and they also make as the members. And then everyone could contribute. For instance, in my case, I belong to Service Design Network, that I pay the membership fee and also any contribution in terms of writing the things like, for instance, if we have like that, I can writing the thing update about the trade issues from Vietnam. You can have a look and then we can have a record. So that is also recommendation. And we also have some funding in order to make the activity. So I think in this case, we also need to have the membership model and also with some fee contribution in order to leverage all of the activity. So I think that this model could run well and make our platform or membership sustainable.
Okay.
So some membership fees, some fixed fees, depending on the type of service.
The contribution as well. You record their contribution, and also you can record them at 4 or 5 stars, something that also encourage the intuition of everyone. That could be something very encouraging for person in terms of consultant.
And when you mean contribution, you mean commissions?
Yeah, like instance, like Danica just mentioned, if you organize the webinar, that also record at the contribution and also evaluate certain amount, not in money, but also in record by the marking or anything in order to make people more popularized.
What do you call this again in English?
In my World Trade Center, we work with also with a partnership. That's a different value than for a membership, price-wise.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we also get a commission on top of all the activities that will go through these consultants, through these partners. So that there is a fee for the World Trade Center, 2 ways, partnership, and then secondly on a commission base. Unfortunately, the commission base is a little bit tougher because it's a long process before a specific company will then accept the terms of a consultant. And when it's also completed, then you get paid. So that makes it a little bit more complicated for us to get the funding for it. But therefore, we've also asked these consultants to become a partner. So they invest also in our time, so that we can spend the time, that we can organize events together with these consultants, also to give them the business or the opportunity to tell, to share their experiences, and then also get companies to become their clients or their partners. Is that the same way in with you, Nicholas?
Yeah, well, partnerships through events, definitely. That's one of my, business model for that. But usually these are with local banks and sometimes also with lawyers but I don't necessarily have partnership fees with specialized, very targeted, specialized consultants generally. But I do work on, of course, I do work with memberships and all that stuff. But when we were thinking business model is how pretty much what's the added value to have, a WTC, vouch for another consultant, or how would a WTC that vouch for a consultant make money off the fact that it's recommending another members WTC to use these consultant services. This is the business model is, fixed fee. That's an idea. We could ask, the consultant that wants to be on that database a fixed fee. That's an idea. Membership, that's another one, for yearly kind of deal. Commission sharing, that's another one. Now, of course, these are all, just ideas. I'm sure that legal at WTCA would have a lot of things to say about this, because these are just, we're just, throwing all kinds of ideas here to see how can we, at the end of the day, it's how can we add value to our own membership to the WTCA, but also to our members' membership to our own WTCA.
True.
Yeah. Nicholas, is to be honest with you, what you charge, we don't offer commission. As Vijay said, we don't want partners, we want consultants. The way we work is very simple. We know what is our cost. We know how many hours we have. We know how many productive hours we have to have. We know what is our charge rate per consultant. We are consultant ourselves. World Trade Center is a consultant in every way you can look at it. And when we get a job, we estimate how long it takes, what is the amount of hours it requires, what is our charge out rate, and we come to a fee quotation based on what we think is the hours and the hourly cost.
And then you make a margin off the third parties that you use?
Anybody we use third parties, we consider them as disbursements, out-of-pocket expenses.
Okay.
Clear. All right.
And incidentally, all international law firms and accounting firms work in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one fixed fee, kind of like this, you're the top of the umbrella, the visible part of the iceberg that the client sees. And then at the end of the day, you charge, to your client a fee that you then use to either, for your own working hours, or for those that you would hire to help you out on.
Look, if you're quoting a fee based on the hours you estimate, and for whatever reason you think that those hours are not feasible, at the earliest possible time, you go to your client and you explain why you had to spend more time in order to justify any additional fee. You know, you need to be transparent.
True.
I think that's a key word there, transparency. We have to put
For
it
sure.
somewhere.
Well, we have.
I have a big questions.
Yeah, Lynn, go ahead, please.
The big questions from my side is that how much time we can make one WTC with the ability to become the consultant base under the recognized by the clients. Because actually at the beginning, like my 4 years WTC, we can only the supporter. We cannot say we are the consultant for anyone, although we do it for free for anyone who comes to Vietnam to do the market research. But we cannot claim ourselves as the consultants. So it means that we also need to build our WTC strong enough and also capability enough, well-known enough in the market, because we cannot compare ourselves with a law firm or Deloitte with a consultant base. Yeah. So that is impossible. So that is become very difficult for us in order. So for the consultant over here that we build in our community, and we also certify them as the WTC consultant in order to support internally, rather than we can compare ourselves, compete ourselves with the law firm or the consultant company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Unfortunately, time is running out. As you can see, we have passed 4 p.m. That's for us also the time to finish our meeting. Maybe Sharon, would you like to give us an update on the GA?
Sure. So for those of you who have seen all of our e-blasts that have been going out, right now we have close to 200 people that are registered for the GA. In particular, we are looking forward to those B2B connections that have begun to be set up. So if you are interested and you have people that would like to be part of those B2B delegations, the connections are happening on the Accra team's end. And Milan, I'm going to throw you in. If there's anything I forget to add, please go ahead and do so. Right now, we have a call later today to discuss some more things that's happening in the GA. But just as a reminder, for those of you that have registered and are interested in taking part in the visa on arrival, the Accra team is happy to assist with that. They just need as much information as you can provide. So if you do have questions and you don't have the link to the survey or to request a visa on arrival, I am happy to send that to you. I'll put my email in the chat for those of you that don't have it. But if you have any questions as well, you can also feel free to email me at any point.
There is Sharon, there is a trick in uploading your passport.
Yes, Mr. Miran, there is a trick. we finally
cannot upload a PDF version of your passport.
Correct.
You need to convert it to JPG and then upload it.
Correct. Yes. No PDFs. It has to be a JPG.
No PDF. It took me 2 hours to understand that.
Gosh.
Feel free to share this, Miran, on the WhatsApp, because I think you're not the only one struggling.
No. Honestly, it's so easy to convert a PDF to, if you have Adobe, it's very, very easy to convert it to JPG. But that's the only way it accepts the upload.
Correct.
Well,
how many people out of the 200 are online and how many are in person?
Oh, very good question. So for those that are online, we only have it's about 5% that's actually virtual right now. So the majority is in person. So that's really great.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's a nice size.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Nicholas. And thank you all for participating, also for your active participation in this regard. This is only a start. Valentina, yes, what you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. I enjoyed this MAC very much today. I think it's an amazing topic and I would love to see more in depth of what's coming. In the meantime, are you going to share the presentation because I did a few notes, but I didn't get it all.
Nicholas did a very good job there. So
Yes.
Nicholas will share it with all of us. But I mean, this is only a first discussion on this topic. I mean, we need to further discuss this topic also with other World Trade Centers, also other members within our group, to really see if there is really a need and if there's really a wish to really start working on this topic. We feel, and Nicholas and I, we felt that it's very important just to address it to you and to discuss it with you, because there is a need of information, but also a need for us to show who we are as a World Trade Center and with what kind of consultants or networks we work together. And then our companies will also see the value of the World Trade Center. So let's continue discussing this. Let's continue discussing this in Accra with all those that are there. I think it's a good first step. And I again thank you all for your input in this regard. Also great that Lynn, that you are there. I hope that you received the Dutch delegation, the Leeuwarden, the World Trade Center Leeuwarden delegation today or yesterday. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but hope to be there one time in the near future, Lynn, to go and visit your World Trade Center. So thank you all, and hope to see you all again, and see you in Accra.
See you.
See
in Accra.
you.
See you
Take
next
care.
time. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.